The freedom of education is part of the family because it's the parents' divine right to give the teachings that he feels God gave him so he can pass it on, because every spiritual teaching is about passing it on. There's a person, an older person teaching a younger person. Usually, and it's in the most natural way, a father or a mother teaching the children. This is how it's supposed to work.
Or the grandparents.
Or the grandparents, yes, absolutely. But the older family, teaches the young. And so if we have a family, and if we have a family of families, which is a community, that says, this is what we believe in, so naturally this is what we're going to teach our children, the government can't suddenly come in and say, no, this isn't good enough education. So in order to protect the child from its own parents and community, we're going to not let you educate how you want, and if you're going to insist and not send him to the regular schools, we're going to charge you with a criminal offense. They're making us criminals for choosing how to educate our children according to what we believe is the best way to live on this earth. And this is another huge crime, and there's endless, that the oppressors and the governments are doing. And this is another thing we have to stop. So part of my activity is also representing women, usually mothers, usually single mothers, that are being used because they're weaker, to force them to educate their children how the government wants them to. And we are standing up for our freedom of education. It's something special about the state of Israel. I don't think it has like that in many other states, is that in our Declaration of Independence, it actually uses the term freedom of education. It's not such a common freedom to write in a Declaration of Independence, but in Israel it was. So even more here, probably because of the very old ancient tradition of the Jewish people to teach the kids. The Torah says in many, many different places, you will tell your children, you will pass it on to your children. When your childs come and ask you, you will tell them. So the Torah tells us all the time about education. And so in Israel, the freedom of education is acknowledged. But the freedom of education is something that all nations and all governments need to acknowledge. And the people and the families and the communities get to decide how they educate their children. No one can tell you if you have an approval for homeschooling or not. And I've heard that in some places in Europe, they don't even have homeschooling. It's out of the question. You have to send to school or else. I find it incredible that this sort of oppression exists about education of our children. So this is part of our activism. And we have these heroes, like the other women I'm representing. They are the ones standing up there in front of the courts, taking on the risk. I'm just doing what I can to help them. But they're standing there in the front lines of this battle, because it is a battle against the oppressors, but not in order to create damage, but in order to stop them from damaging us. It's a defensive battle. And so we're standing there in this battle, and we're saying, don't touch our freedom of education. Don't touch the autonomy of the family. Don't separate kids from children. You can't do that. And the reason that we think we have a chance, because a lot of people tell me, oh, you're fighting against windmills, right? You're fighting against this massive system, the Goliath of governments and corporations. So I think that we're stronger than that. But we just need to come together. And the point of these cases that we're pushing is not just because we think we can win against the system in one small case, but we think that each of these cases has the potential to awaken the minds of many to come and join us, and then they don't have a chance. Especially if it's international, and if there's people from all over the world coming together and doing it at the same time, then they're finished. And then we're liberated. So this is Bezrat Hashem. This is where we're aiming. To donate, please click on the link below. Every donation counts and brings us one step closer to protecting another family from government coercion and standing up for our freedom of education.